Hello folks, I'm Anticio Duke and I want to thank you for stopping by. Today we're actually going to cover a few topics, mobile trends and different design ideas that's going to help us improve our user experience both in web design as well as mobile design. I say trends because these are things that we need to identify and utilize in our current design processes and products. However, they're not trends in the sense that we need to just do them for the moment and do away with them later. So if you stay tuned for more, we will actually go into a deep dive in this topic, touching on 3 tips to improve and simplify the user flow. Stay tuned for more. So this week, we're going to touch on the topic of simplifying a user journey, a user flow for your digital products, mobile apps, and different design elements. I'm going to give you 3 particular tips that could help you in identifying improvements, things to watch out for, and overall just better the user experience of your product. Tip number 1. This is at the core of everything you should be doing relative to designing for users. And that's 1, identify the user themselves, right? A lot of people miss out on this point. And what I mean by that is identifying the demographics of those users, the age, their particular goals, their tasks, their needs, their desires. Why are they using your product and or service to begin with? Once you're able to identify those particular users and their necessary goals and what they're trying to accomplish, then you can build and design a specific experience to cater and identify that goal that they're trying to achieve. All right? So that's holistically tip number 1, identify your users and their particular goals. Simple, right? Okay. Tip number 2 in simplifying your user journey flow is what you want to do is create simplified user tasks. Or in other words, create linear user tasks. A lot of times we've indulged in and interact with products that seem a bit clunky, seem a bit complicated to navigate. And those can deter us from our usage and our desire to want to continue using that particular app. Well, it's good practice, best practice to streamline that user flow. And what I mean by that is look at your user flow, your goal as a story, right? There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. And in each particular segment of that story, there is something happening. And it's very unique to that section of your story. Think of designing your user flow very similarly. What would a user need to do in the beginning? What, after that action happens, a user would need to do next? And then lastly, how would they understand? Where would they be notified, or is it clear that they've completed that task? So look at it in that fashion, and if you make it a linear process, then the more the merrier. They would actually enjoy that. And the reason you want to do that is to reduce a lot of ambiguity and steps towards reaching a goal. The more friction that you remove from accomplishing that goal or task, the better off people become advocates for the product. And tip number 3 to simplifying your user journey is to provide guidance. What we like to call in the field progressive disclosure. And what that means is the idea of making info, tutorials, or different action tips and steps, make them visible and very clear to the user at the time that they need to use them. So for example, if you think of launching an app and you look at some of the icons and the tasks that are associated to those features, a lot of times people get stuck on what should I do? How do I do next? How do I tap this button? What does it do? There are different applications that give you these onboarding tutorials. You'll see them consume the screen and they guide you when necessary, right? You've launched the app, you're a new user, they guide you and help show you in a tutorial way or in a very clear fashion that this is what you need to do in order to achieve this next step. So progressive disclosure is holistically the idea that you identify and share and communicate to a user the steps that are required to reach the next step in the goal or in that process, okay? And the real good thing about this is that you only should be surfacing these when needed, right? So you don't want to inundate your screen and bombard a user with all of these tooltips and these widgets that pop up to show them information, especially when they're in a browsing moment or they are in a gesture-based, a long press, and they're trying to initiate an action. You don't want to bombard them with information. We particularly use mobile applications and mobile devices often. So as a consumer and as a society who are using and getting more and more familiar with how apps work, we are a bit more in tune with some of those things. That doesn't give us the right to just flood a user's timeline and or device with information, okay? So those are the 3 tips, but I will note the overall goal of all of this is to reduce cognitive load. And what that is to take away all of the friction, make it simple, make things easy for the user to proceed and use your products. And the rest is history, right? Everyone wants a better experience, don't you? I know I do. Just saying. What we do holistically is reduce cognitive friction and increase and improve comprehension. Hey, that rhymed. One of those things today. Whatever. All right, so that's all I have. 3 particular tips to simplify the user flow in any of your products. Hopefully that helps. Do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and the content that we will be producing throughout this channel. Also, share it with someone you feel can benefit. There is a large community of designers, and some of them stumble in these very, very key concepts. And I like to give value. That's what we're here for. So hit that button, subscribe, share with a friend. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.